a fix or a temporary agreement that they made, they're gonna go right back to the table, man. And they want to do some drastic cuts. Because that dollar's worth shit. Silver, if you've been checking out the silver prices, silver has hit over $40 an ounce. And gold is a few dollars shy, about $25 to $30 shy of $1,500. So I mean, if you can't see that this man's going down, then you have another theater of war over there in Libya. You got anything?
This is Ecclesiastes 8 and 6. Because to every purpose there is time and judgment. Therefore the misery of man is great upon him.
That's right. So now you're going to start feeling the effects of this dollar going down. Now the next clip I'm going to show you is a news clip dealing with the loss of their of America's AAA credit status. Once you lose that, what's going to happen is your rates are going to go up dramatically. So this $14 trillion debt that you're in, you're going to have to pay more for the what's the term I'm looking for, the down payment, let's say. The total national debt is something like $56 trillion. So you're really catching hell. Now let's go to the next clip.
U.S. lawmakers in Washington bicker over the budget and hurl blame across the aisle for the gridlock, calling opposing colleagues
relatively small, extreme group of ideologues who are an anchor dragging down the budget negotiation process. Give me a break.
Another group of decision makers has been weighing in on the debate.
One of the country's top credit agencies telling the feds something has to get done on this debt.
Ratings agencies Standard & Poor and Moody's have been warning for months that the U.S. debt could threaten the country's golden AAA credit rating, telling investors in U.S. bonds essentially they may have to worry about getting paid. The U.S. debt problem is big, $14 trillion big. Meanwhile, the solutions lawmakers are coming up with to solve this problem are small. This tiny dot represents even the larger $60 billion in cuts Republican lawmakers originally proposed. Meanwhile, the U.S. government each year continues to spend a lot more than it takes in, resulting in more than $1 trillion in budget deficit. So it's all of this that rating agencies see as unsustainable and a concern. And it's a path the U.S. has been on for a while.
43 cents out of every dollar we spent this year, we borrowed against the future of our children.
Continuing on this trajectory of borrowing and spending, however, would not be an option according to financial analysts if the U.S. was downgraded. So what would happen?
It would be another crisis.
Economist Max Fraud-Wolf says even putting the U.S. on official downgrade watch would be devastating.
It would create global shockwaves, in part because most models and understandings of the global investment landscape, including the bond landscape, take as their sort of central anchor the U.S. 10-year Treasury bond as the risk-free asset.
And if that asset goes from risk-free to risky for U.S. bondholders like central banks and investors all over the world, so goes the stability of currency as just one example. And so goes the low interest rate the U.S. pays to borrow money. As it is, the interest the U.S. pays on its debt is staggering.
It was $187 billion in 2009. Under your proposal, it increases to $844 billion.
That number would grow exponentially faster with a downgrade, because the U.S. would likely have to pay higher interest rates to borrow money, meaning less money to spend at home.
Then we have to start cutting really aggressively, and for many things that are too important for Americans really to be able to agree to cut them right now.
Drastic cuts in everything from energy to education to the military.
Certainly it endangers the U.S. position as an empire around the world, being able to reach into every corner of the earth. Yes, absolutely.
Whether the U.S. would really be downgraded is up for debate. The U.S. has the exorbitant privilege, after all, of printing dollars. The global reserve